And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have of the semifinals match in ESL Open Cup number 171 Asia. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. Oh, with some very furry drones. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Go, two of the best Zerg players in all of South Korea. Dark, Solar, and Ragnarok. They make the trifecta of Zerg in the upper echelons of the Korean StarCraft. And now two of them are facing off here in the semifinals of this weekly exclamation mark Funada ESL for always putting these Zerg players on the same side of the bracket. I'm shaking my head. And when I say always, I don't really mean always, but most of the time they're on the same side of the bracket, so they will be eliminating themselves. It will confirm a Zerg player in the finals, but which one is the question. I think most people would agree that Dark is maybe a stronger, well-rounded player overall when it comes to his ZvZ, ZvT, and ZvP. But doesn't matter how good you are against Terran, doesn't matter how good you are against Protoss. It's all about the mirror matchup right now. And in a ZvZ, I do think Solar is very comparable to Dark. They do have different outlooks. They do go for different styles overall. But this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be quite difficult to call. I do think that Dark has the best late game ZvZ. If he can force the late game, I think Dark is going to be the favorite. And we have seen that before here on Gresvan. I'm going to be triggering some PTSD from some people in the chat. Do you guys remember Dark versus Ragnarok? Like 2 weeks ago? On this map? Yeah. Do you remember Dark versus Scarlet a month ago on this map? Yeah. If you weren't here on the Cranky Ducklings tuning into ESL Asia, Dark on Gresvan has been known to just say no. Say no to your aggression, say no to your mutas, your roaches, your Lingbane. Slowly expand, go into lurkers, take a third, take a fourth, take a fifth, take his half of the map and go Hydra Lurker Viper and drag the game out into an hour-long ZvZ. He's willing, he'll do it. Dark will do it. He's like, mate, if you want to do this, mate, I'm more than I'll set up my tent right now. We're not going anywhere. So that's definitely a scary thing here. But before that happens, Dark is going for a Link Flood. Dark, thankfully, praise to be El Dark. Gracias, Papa. We're going for a Link Flood. We're cutting drones here at 21. The game will end one way or another in a matter of moments. Solar's going for the full wall off here. Not quite a full wall off yet, but his Baliness does finish. He does have a couple of Banelings on the way. The third base is going to be forfeit, though. And behind this, Dark is droning. So with this Link Flood, Dark is behind economically. He's pretty far behind in the drone count, but he's going to be containing Solar to 2 bases. Solar very quick to cancel and very quick to retake that third, though. No fear. Oh, decisive moves here from Solar. Can he hold on, though? Up. Oh, forces another cancel, though. The Banelings were not in position here. And this is getting a little bit scary. Solar needs to get this third base up sooner rather than later because Dark is droning behind this. Solar needs the third. And 2 cancels is pretty damn good here for Dark. Pretty damn good. Behind this, we have our own defensive Baneling nest with droning. The game is going to settle down from here. For the most part, we'll see if Solar's going to be able to make something happen with his Lingbane, though. Like, he was forced to morph in these Banelings. He wants to use them. He wants to make use of them. Likewise, Dark is respecting Solar's position and he's going to be morphing in his own Banelings as well. But yeah, Lunker versus Lunker, Papi. Aye. I mean, Dark is good at it. That's the thing. He's amazing at the Lunker versus Lunker. But no one wants to see it. We don't want it, Papi. We don't want it. Aye. Solar's just, sorry, Dark's just going to be backing off from this point. respecting the position here of Solar. And we do see a follow-up Roach push being set up here. Solar already has his Roach Warren hidden behind that natural base. Solar is cutting workers. He's going to be going for his own massive timing. No upgrades. Roaches and Banelings. They don't even have Roach speed because we don't even have a lair right now. Solar's not looking that far ahead. He doesn't need to. And what's scary about this is that we have Banelings to protect these Roaches. So Lings are not going to be enough right now. Dark desperately trying to get his own Roach Warren up and running. We have Banelings on the way as well, but Solar is already here. Oh. Good Baneling detonation already here for Solar. He has one Baneling behind us. The Banelings of Dark do finish up. But against Roaches, they're just not really what you need. Here we go. Solar is so ahead in supply right now. Dark was busy droning, and hey, he's got 48 workers, but not for long, as they're going to be falling one after another. Dark trying desperately to hold on here. The Lings do avoid the Banelings, and they're going to be able to get us around on these queens. And that may just be it. GG gets called. Solar, with his counterattack, takes game number 1. Dark, of course, forcing a massive reaction due to his Ling Flood, due to canceling that third base. And Solar's like, okay, you want to drone behind this? Drone away. Drone away, Papi. You'll be safe, I promise. I'm just gonna not get a lair, not gonna make any more workers, and just go for my own Ling Bane Roach timing. GG, well played. Dark caught droning, which is something that doesn't happen too often. I'll be honest. You know, usually it's the other way around. Usually Dark catches his opponent droning. So Solar clearly showing that he is willing to go toe-to-toe with Dark, to get down and dirty with his timings. Let's go. Now we're getting into game number 2, and what will game 2 entail? As you could argue that in game 1, Dark kind of made his bed and he had to sleep in it a little bit, where because he cut so many drones, he had to drone quite heavily after his Ling Flood ended, and it kind of put him in this kind of compromised position. His Roach Warren was very late as well. At a certain point, you could argue that maybe he could have tried to scout a little bit better to recognize that it wasn't safe to drone as heavily as he did, but there was very little time to react in that game. it was over pretty quick. And here we go. We are continuing this series and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Onsite. Did I say CranKy earlier? Onsite Gaming. Currently leading the series 1-0, it is Solar. Shout out to Turkey Dano in the chat. I remember Dark versus Eric. I remember that too. we all remember that, Papi. We all remember that. Feels good, man. Feels good. Alas, there's no Eric here. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Getting quite late in the land of Brazil. But yeah, Dark just having a bit of a hard time at the start of this series. But again, everything happened really quickly, and I don't think that game 1 really tells us too much about how this series will go. You know, it was Dark being aggressive, you know, being very decisive overall, and it just really not working out for him. A little bit coin flippy in that way. I say coin flipping, just gambling a little bit. Gambling with how he droned and with the limited scouting information that Dark had available. Meanwhile, hatch gas pools all around, standard openers from both of our South Korean Zerg players. You love to see it. Just because the openers are standard doesn't mean that either one of these players won't be willing to cut drones once again. I don't expect Dark to Ling Flood again this series. Oh boy, starting it off in game number 1, I think is a good way to start a series, but yeah, after you show your hand, not the wisest choice to do it multiple games in a row. So we should be seeing some more defensive play out of Dark. Solar could try and take advantage of that and maybe try to metagame Dark a little bit and maybe be a little bit more greedy. We'll see if Solar does decide to skip out on the Baneling Nest, for example, and go for a faster Roach Warren. For now, Lings are on the way. Solar just going to be going for a bit of a scout across the map. Same can be said for Dark. The first 2 Lings being sent out for both players, and both players are also going for their third bases on time, on location. You love to see it. Meanwhile, the Lings do pass each other. They're going to be confirming the timings on the thirds. They're going to be trying to maybe even bypass the Queen and slip into the main. Typical ZvZ stuff. As Dark actually comes out with both Queens to make sure that the scouting is denied. Very aggressive moves here from Dark. Meanwhile, Solar likewise also moving out here, just making sure that the Lings don't get into the main. And this is, you know, a little bit scary if there was an all-in coming, if there was like a second Gas Geyser, a hidden Roach Warren, a fast Lair. Like, there's a lot of possibilities here at ZvZ, and that's why scouting is paramount, really. Everything you can go for requires a certain response. And for the time being, we're just going to be chilling here and droning. We do see Solar going for a relatively fast Roach Warren in the main base. Hidden, by the way. Dark is none the wiser. He's just, you know, got his Ling Bane going. He's going to be saturating and droning up his third base. So I wouldn't be surprised if Solar goes even for +1 Carapace here with his Evo Chamber. I'm a little bit concerned. We do have a couple of safety Banelings being morphed in. 3 in total here for Solar. Dark just tests the waters and backs the hell off. He doesn't want any of that. And I don't know if you noticed, but Solar isn't draining. Solar is not saturating this third base whatsoever. With that fast Roach Warren, he is pumping out as many roaches as possible. He's moving up with everything he has. Solar is going for a massive all-in. Has to at least kill the third base. And Dark, once again, doesn't have a Roach Warren. The Roach Warren is not even halfway done right now. He's going to have to rely on Lings, Banes, and Queens to defend. He's got a Spine Crawler on the way as well at that third base. But Solar, ooh, is actually being forced back home because of this Ling counterattack. Great moves by Dark, just forcing Solar to second guess himself. The Roaches are on the way. Dark has bought enough time. That Roach Warren is now done. He can make defensive Roaches. He's droning? No, Dark! He just made away with drones! Oh my god, he thought he was safe. He thought that it was okay to drone, but he throws down another Spine Crawler. Lings are rushing across the map. Dark, not like this, Bobby. Not like this. We have 4 Roaches on the way. I don't know if that's going to be enough. It's going to all come down to the Baneling detonations. How good are the Baneling connections going to be? And so far, ooh, pretty damn good for Dark. A lot more Banelings are rolling on in as well. Oh, there are so many of them. Jesus. And the Banelings, they take down the Roaches. GG gets called, and Dark defends and takes game number 2. See how many Roaches, how many Banelings he had. Dark caught droning, but it's okay. Because apparently Banelings are the answer here. Solar had some rough connections as well, and unfortunately he didn't have enough Banelings to protect his own Roaches, to like dance and have this little back and forth with the Banelings of Dark. They connected in the end. And now we're going into the ace match. Game number 3. Very impressive, by the way. I'm very impressed that Dark was able to defend without any Roaches of his own. It can be a very tough ask, but yeah, that influx of Banelings was apparently all that he needed. I mean, I say that, but he also had Queens coming out as well. He had Spine Crawlers to support. Ooh. Let's go. And now we're getting into the ace match. Game number 3. It all ends here on altitude. Game 1, Dark Ling flooded and lost. Game 2, Solar Ling flooded with Roaches and lost. Who's going to be the aggressor here in Game 3? Because the first aggressor apparently seems to lose. It's not good, Papi. It's not good. Here we go, spawning in at the top right-hand corner of altitude. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, tying up that series 1-1. It is oh my god, it is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Just re-watching the final moments of that game. Oh my god, the Banelings just annihilating those roaches. A sight you very rarely see in ZvZ. Those roaches are so tanky. Ugh. But yeah, here we go. The ace match, game 3. It all ends here on the largest map in the map pool, and altitude does typically lend towards muta play. Mutas can excel so well just because they have so much room to maneuver around, just because there's so many bases or so much area between all these bases to fly between. We'll see if we can get there in time, though. We'll see if we even end up in a rare situation where we have a muta versus muta. Doesn't happen too often, but from time to time it can. It's kind of like PvP, where we have Phoenix versus Phoenix. Oh. Oh boy. Here we go. For the time being, hatch gas pool openers from either side. It would be crazy to go for a gas first or even a pool first on altitude. The likelihood of your opponents being aggressive or you yourself succeeding with aggression isn't very high. That doesn't stop Eric from doing it. It doesn't stop Eric from doing it. But yeah. Instead, we have sensible openers from both sides. Everything is on the up and up. Oh. And we'll see where we go from here. As a result, I imagine we're going to be seeing third bases on time and not too much Ling Bane aggression. The problem with Ling Bane aggression on this map as well is that it takes so long to reinforce. It can be really difficult to get momentum going and really punish the third. It's not impossible, but you have to be very vigilant with your own Ling Bane control, and you have to be as cost efficient as possible. So we'll see if either one of these players does decide to cut drones at any point. We shall see. As for the time being, third bases are being taken from both sides. A little bit of scouting from either side as well. There's that Baneling Nest from Solar. He's not going to be cutting any corners. Likewise, Dark also doesn't skip his own Baneling Nest. So both players are respecting each other. You'll love to see it. From time to time, a player will skip the Baneling Nest and go straight into roaches instead, which means that they're vulnerable to Ling Floods and vulnerable to Ling Bane aggression. But again, both players just playing it out safe and sound. Beautiful. Tis beautiful. As we're going to be droning from here, no additional gases have been taken yet. We do have our Evo chamber on the way for Solar. +1 carapace timings have kind of pulled out of fashion, which is pretty interesting. For like a solid February. Like February and March, or maybe February and the first half of March, like every ZvZ that we casted had a +1 carapace all-ins. They were so common and so popular. But how the meta shifts quickly and how I haven't really seen that in maybe 3 weeks. It's been a while. I guess it's been found out and we're not really relying on it too much, but there it is. The reason why I brought it up is because of the faster Evo chamber. Solar is bringing it back, going for that +1 carapace. So this is going to be quite aggressive here, and Solar isn't going to be looking to saturate his third base too much. The power behind this push is it's a roach Ling flood basically, and your Lings are gonna be that much more tanky and that much more beefy against the defensive Banelings of your opponents, as it does take 2 Banelings to kill Lings as opposed to the 1. On top of that, your roaches are also much more sturdy against the Lings of your opponent as well, so even if they have an influx of Lings to defend, it may not be enough. As Dark is going for his own upgrade, timing is going to be a little bit later than Solar's, bear that in mind. +1 carapace is going to hit faster. The Roach Warren is now done for both players, and there's that Roach production. Solar cutting workers at 43, and I don't think he intends to make any more. Oh my god! But the Banelings are rolling in! Oh no! Oh boy, we can't afford to lose workers when we're going for an all-in. Like, every drone counts right now. We have a follow-up Ling Flood as well. The Banelings not quite going to detonate here in favor of Solar. But again, he doesn't want to waste Larva making drones. He lost those workers, and they're workers that he's never going to replace. Here we go. The roaches are flooding across the map. Solar is being forced more and more all in as time goes on. A Queen gets picked off, and Dark has so much time to respond. This is the problem with altitude. It takes so long for these Roaches to get across the map. We have Spines on the way. We have Roaches. We have Banelings. We have Queens. Is it going to be enough? Here we go. +1 Carapace finishing up in 10 seconds for Solar. Oh, God. He doesn't want to fight before that. Oh, the links go down before the upgrade. Aye, aye, aye. A little bit unfortunate. A little bit of a missed timing from Solar, but he's breaking on through anyway. He's getting on top of the Spine Crawler. The Banelings are headed towards the mineral line, but no, there's a Spine Crawler there as well. And it was a bit of an anti-timing. I think Solar hit a couple seconds too early. He lost all of his links before the upgrade could really impact anything, and there it is. GG gets called. Dark takes the series 2-1. Oh, GG. Dark just catching Solar unawares, not looking at his third base with that Baneling run by. And you could make an argument like, oh, Solar's going all in anyway. Sure, but when you're going all in, it is usually really crisp, usually drone up to a certain amount, and your economy is able to facilitate that all in. Losing all those drones the way that he did, losing the Queen as well, impacting his larva and his production. That's just... He came into that crippled. He came into that limping along across the map. And just to add insult to injury, a little bit unfortunate that he committed to the fight before Carapace kicked in. And we saw all of his links die immediately to those Banelings, mere seconds before Carapace. Would that have made the difference? I mean, there was a lot working against Solar. There was a lot working against Solar there, so it was an uphill battle, all starting with the Baneling run by. But GG, very well played. Dark advances to the grand finals. GG, very well played. And now it's time to have a little bit of a peek at what's been going on in the upper semifinals.